Yeah. So hello everyone. So now we start our next lecture, that is Git and GitHub and version control. So I created PPT for you. Just a second. Yeah. So now our next topic is introduction to Git and GitHub and version control. So our agenda. So it includes approximately 5 options. The first one is what is version control. The next is it's time to get Git. The third one is working with repository locally. The fourth one is working with remotes. And the last is working on another developer's repository. So I think we need to start accordingly. Yeah. So what is version control? So it includes time, who took it, state and location of pieces. Yeah. Time, who took it, state and location of pieces. The idea of a safe point is exactly what version control is. Okay, now we go for next slide, that is version control system, VCS. Yeah, so what is VCS? I again tell you, just a second. So it includes Git, Subversion and Mercurial. Now we go for another slide, that is distributed version control system. Yeah, there are lots of terminology out there that we might hear about when starting to learn about Git and GitHub. Yeah, so I check the PPT, so you have to wait for a minute. Yeah, just a second, guys. Git and GitHub and version control. Yeah, so exercise is install and configure Git. Okay, how to get Git? First time Git configuration, Git and Git code editor. Okay, okay. So we start. Yeah. So first of all, what is version control? So if version control helps to track and manage changes to file or code over time. Okay. Yeah. Here it is. Here it is. A version control helps to track and manage changes to file or code over time. It allows multiple people to collaborate on a project, revert to previous version and manage multiple version or branches. Okay, so there are two types of version control. The first one is centralized version control system. The second one is distributed version control system. In the centralized version control system, one central repository and all users commit their changes to it. That is known as centralized. I repeat again, one central repository and all users commit their changes to it. Example SVN. Next we have distributed VCS. VCS means version control system. Every contributor every contributor has a local copy of the repository. That is known as distributed VSS. Distributed VSS means like Git. Okay, so Git is a distributed version. I open this slide just yeah. Most popular version control system. The first one is Git. Git is a distributed version control system created by Linus Torvalds in 2005. The next is it tracks changes in the source code, enabling multiple people to work on the same project simultaneously without overwriting each other work. Git allows you to, the first one is save checkpoint. Checkpoint means commits in the history of your project. Next we have create branches to experiment with features or fix bugs. Next it helps for merge branches to integrate work back into the main project. And the last one is it helps to track the history of changes and revert to previous version if needed. Now we discuss about the concept of Git. Yeah. So what are the steps for Git? So first is repository, then we have commit, then we have branch, next is merge, and next clone, then push, staging area, and head. So in the repository, you can also say as repo, a directory that store all of the project file and history are known as repository. Commit, a snapshot of changes made to the file at a particular time. It is like saving a version of your project. Then we have branch, a separate line of deployment or development. You can create multiple branches to work on different features simultaneously. Next we have merge. It helps to integrate changes from one branch to another. Then we have clone. It helps to create a copy of a repository on your local machine. Next one is pull. Fetching changes from a remote repository to your local repository are known as pull. Then we have push option, that is sending changes from local repository to a remote repository. Then the another one is staging area, a temporary area where changes are collected between committed. Then we have head, a pointer to the most recent commit in your current branch. So now I tell you the basic git command that helps. Yeah. So there are some basic git command you can note it like git initialization. It also called a git init. Then we have git clone. Then we have git status. In the git initialization, it initializes a new git repository. In the git clone, it clones a remote repository to your local machine. Next we have git status. It helps to show the status of your working directory like modified files, stage file, etc. Next we have git add file. It helps to add file to the staging area. Then we have git commit message. It helps to commit state changes with a message. Then we have git pull. It helps to fetch changes from the report remote repository and merges them into the current branch. Then we have git push. It pushes local changes to the remote repository. Another one is git checkout branch. It switches to a different branch. Then we have git merge branch. It helps to merge another branch into the current branch. Git log. It shows a history of commit. So in the slide we have How to get Git? So first of all, there are two versions that is Mac and Windows. So I provided link. You can easily search through it. Then we have download the software for Mac and Windows. Install Git choosing all of the default option. Okay. Then we have written command in the Linux for installation of Git. Now the next slide is first time Git configuration. So hashtag setup Git with your name, Git configuration global user name. Then we have your full name according to syntax. Then we have setup Git with your email, Git configuration global user dot email. Then we have according to syntax your email address. Make sure that Git output is colored. Git configuration global color dot UI auto. So these are all about Git configuration. Now we go for next Git and code editor. Atom editor setup. Git configuration global code dot editor atom wait. Then we have VS code setup. Git configuration global code dot editor code wait. Actually, we already discussed this presentation. I mean this topic in our previous lecture. The topic is Git and GitHub workshop. We already know that. So in the previous lecture, we already discussed all these things, and in this PPT, I shown you what are the installation process and what are the code editor you need to perform a task. So now we go for next slide, that is review Git configuration. If you don't find any content in this presentation, you can watch my previous lecture. Okay, so yeah, these are done. These are done. Yeah. So review Git configuration. Hashtag list all the configuration properties. Git configuration list. So these are the command you can easily access through it. Now we have initialization a local Git repository. So I already told you these are the command. So cd used to change directories. Mkdir used to create a new directory. ls used to list file and directories. pwd used to print working directory. Touch used to create and modify file. Start used to open file or directories. And rm used to remove file and directories. Then we have next slide, how Git works. Yeah. So you can see in the picture, the first is working directory, then we have staging area, then we have local repository. Yeah. As you can see in the slide easily how Git works. I think I don't need to read this. Now we have Git add. I again repeat you, in this presentation we only discuss Git command and how the installation process is working. And if you want to find the content for Git and GitHub, you can watch my previous lecture. In this lecture, we already discussed these things. Okay. Now we have Git add. So these are basically command. Then we have Git commit. So I tell you again, these are the command. So in the Git log, it shows a history of commit. In the Git merge, it helps to merge another branch into the current branch. Then we have Git checkout. It helps to switches to a different branch. Then we have Git push. It pushes local changes to the remote repository. Then we have Git pull. It fetches changes from the remote repository and merges them into the current branch. Then we have Git commit. It helps to commit stage changes with the message. Then we have Git add. It adds files to the staging area. I already discussed. Then we have Git status. It shows the status of your working directory. Then we have Git clone. It clone a remote of repository to your local machine. Now we have Git init. It initializes new Git repository. So these are the all about git command. Then we have GitHub. We already do these things. Yeah. Oh, I think network issue there. Yeah. Just a second. Yeah. We already discussed this git commit message. Now we again repeat this. Yeah. In the git commit, the command is written there. This command, sorry, this command moves your changes to the local repository. Try to always write your commit message in a imperative way. Okay. Then we have git commit message. What are the things you have to do, and what are the things you have to don't do? So the first is do's. So it helps to keep the message short, less than 60-ish characters. The next one is explain what the commit does, not how or why. So now we have don't. It contains three options. The first one is explain why the changes are made, then explain how the changes are made, and the last one is use the word and. Now we have reviewing the repository history. For reviewing the GitHub repository, we have to use git status on branch master. Your branch is up to date with origin master, nothing to commit, working directory clean, and we have git log. Now we go for reviewing the it already done completed. Yeah, git log. This command will show the history of changes in the history, including the SHA, the author, the date. We already discussed these things. So exercise working with remote. So in this exercise, we will create a GitHub repository and clone it. Then we make changes and push to GitHub. Then we have make changes and pull from GitHub. Then fork a repository and make a pull request. All these things are done in the upcoming lecture. In this lecture, I only tell you the process, not how to do the process. I only provide you the process. Then we have how Git works with GitHub. So we all know about GitHub. GitHub is a cloud-based platform for hosting Git repositories. It adds collaboration tools to Git distributed version control. It provides features like the first one is hosting repository publicly or privately. Then we have pull request, a mechanism for contributing code and collaborating. Developers can review, discuss, and merge code. Then we have issues, a way to track bugs, enhancement, and tasks. Then we have actions, automation tools for CI/CD. CI means continuous integration, and CD means continuous deployment. Then the last one is GitHub pages, hosting static website directly from a GitHub repository. Now we have GitHub key concept. We have four to five concepts. The first one is fork, next is pull request, third one is start, and the last is watch. So in the fork, it helps to create a copy of someone else's repository in your GitHub account. Then we have pull request. Pull request means a request to merge changes from one branch to another branch. Then we have star option, a way to show appreciation or bookmark a repository. The star option is, I think you already seen the star option. Now we have watch, subscribe to notification for repository changes. Okay, so now we go for workflow with Git and GitHub. And the workflow we have initialization repository, make changes, state changes, commit changes, push to GitHub, collaborate. Okay, in the initialization we use some command. The first one is git init, the next one is git clone. The init means to create a local repository, and to create a copy for use git clone. Then we have make changes To make changes, we use git status. Then we go for state changes. For state changes, use git add file. Then commit changes, use commit message. Then go for push to GitHub. Git push up origin branch. Then we have the last one is collaborate. The first it includes use branches and pull request for collaboration. And next is review and merge pull request through GitHub web interface. So I provide you the I provide you the common Git branching strategies. The first one is feature branching, and the next one is Git flow. Third one is forking workflow. In the featuring branching, create a new branch for each feature or bug fix. Then we have merge with branch back into the main branch, example main or master. So I tell you, when you fork a copy of another project or someone else project, there is two options mentioned there. The first one is main and master. So these are the branches helps you to copying the or fork the project. Okay. Now we have git flow. In the git flow, it involves multiple long running branches, main, develop and feature branches. Then we have main holds stable production ready code, while develop is the integration branch. Okay, I repeat again. Git flow includes multiple long running branches. The first one is main, develop and feature branches. And the main branch helps to hold stable production ready code, and while develop is the integration branch. Okay, develop is the integration branch, not the production ready code. So the last one is forking workflow. In the forking workflow, we have fork the original repository, make changes in your fork, and submit a pull request to the original repository. So now we have Git details feature. Mm, yeah, yeah, how Git works. Yeah, as you can see in the slide, how Git works with GitHub. There is shown below. The first one is working directory. Now we have staging area. Then we have local repository, and the last one is remote repository. And in this slide, you can easily see the local repository transfer to the remote repository, and the staging area transfer to the local repository. And after this, the remote repository transfer the data to local repository again. So this process is repeating again by again. So these are all about. So I again tell you about the Git features. What are the Git features? Yeah. So the first one is snapshot, no differences. Unlike some other version control system that store changes at differences between file versions, Git takes snapshot of the entire file at each commit. Okay. Git takes snapshot of the entire file at each commit. If a file has not changed, Git links to the previous identical version. Okay. Now we have efficient storage. Git is designed to handle large scale code bases with efficiency. Since it stores data as snapshot, it compresses it compress and duplicate data, making repository compact. Okay, like it helps to compress the data. You can easily it helps to compress the data. Now we have decentralized structure. Every Git clone is a full-fledged repository with its own complete history. This makes Git robust and fault tolerant because even if the central server crashes, any client can restore the full repository. Then we have three states in Git. The first one is modified, stage, and commit. In the modified, you have modified the file but have not staged it. And in the stage, we have you have marked the modified file to be including in the next commit. And the last one is committed. The changes are saved in the local repository history. And we have now workflow about this. These are already discussed in the previous lecture. In the workflow of Git, we have working directory, staging area, local repository, and remote repository. Just a second. Yeah, these are one working, staging area, local, and remote. So in the working directory, the files you are currently working on, you can modify these files freely, and they are not yet being tracked by Git. Okay. Now we have staging area, a temporary space, a temporary space where Git store the changes before end. Now we have staging area explanation, a temporary space where Git store the changes before committing them. When we add a file using git add, it moves to the staging area, as you can see in the figure. Now we have local repository. This is where git store the commit you have made. Changes in this repository are not visible to others until you push them to the remote repository. So in the working of Git works with GitHub, these are the four types that is very important. The first one is working directory, second is staging area, third is local repository, and the last one is remote. In the remote, you can see this picture. Yeah. So I again tell you all these four things. The first one is working directory. The files you are currently working on, you can modify these files freely, and they are not yet being tracked by Git. Next, we have staging area. It is a temporary space where Git stores the changes before committing them. When we add a file using git add, it moves to the staging area. Okay, as you can see in the presentation. Now we have a local repository. This is where Git store the commit you have made. Changes in this repository are not visible to others until you push them to the remote repository. Okay, and the last we have remote repository. This is a repository hosted on a service like GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket. Uh, when the only Git works, there is no presentation of remote repository. Only three things are present: working directory, staging area, and local repository. After work with GitHub, there is another section that is remote repository is present. Okay. Now we have commit history. Every commit has unique SHA hash that identify it. The hash is used to track the commit and ensure that the integrity of the repository. Next we have commit also include metadata like the author, commit message, and the timestamp. Now we have advanced git command. These are already done. Then we have branching and merging. Yeah, the branching allows developers to diverge from the main code base to work on feature independently. Git branches are lightweight and switching between them is quick. And in the merging can result in we have the two sections. The first one is fast forward merge. The next one is recursive merge. In the fast forward merge, if no diverging changes were made, Git just move the head forward. And in the recursive merge, if the branches diverge, Git will create a new merge commit to combine the changes. Then we have merge conflicts. When two branches modify the same line in a file differently, Git cannot automatically merge them, resulting in a merge conflict. Conflicts must be resolved manually before completing the merge. Now we have the detailed features about GitHub. Okay, so the first one is pull request, the next is action, and the next is collaborative roles. And the fourth one is project and issue, and the fifth is GitHub forking. So I already told you all these things about Now we will talk about version control. What is version control? So I give you brief review about this. So first of all, yeah, in the presentation we discussed about what is version control. A version control helps to track and manage changes to files or code over time. It allows multiple people to collaborate on a project, revert to previous version, and manage multiple version or branches. There are two types of version control system. The first one is centralized and distributed. In the distributed, we also call that decentralized. Okay. In the centralized, one central repository and all users commit their changes. Okay, like SVN. And in the decentralized, every contributor has a local copy of the repository, like Git. Okay. Now we go for Git. Git is a distributed version control system. Okay. It tracks changes in the source code, enabling multiple people to work on the same project simultaneously without overwriting each other's work. Now we have Git allows for mainly four things. The first one is save checkpoint. The next is create branches to experiment with features or fix bug. Then we have merge branches to integrate work back into the main project. And the last one is track the history of changes and revert to previous version if needed. And next we have key Git concept. It includes repository, commit, branch, merge, clone, pull, push, staging area, head. We already discussed these things. Yeah, these are the link exercise how to get it completed completely. First time git configuration. So in this presentation, we discuss only about the installation process and the commands of the Git that works with the GitHub. Okay, so these are the basically commands for okay basic Git command. I again repeat you the what are the those command. The first one is git initialization, git clone, git status, git add, git commit, and git pull. Then we have git push, then we have git checkout, then we have git merge, and the last one is git log. There are other branches which is not mainly used, but which I tell you these are the main one. Then we know about GitHub. GitHub is a cloud-based platform for hosting Git repository. So it provides feature like hosting repository, pull request, issues, actions, and GitHub pages. So now we have the concept how Git works with GitHub. So these are the main things. The first one is working directory, next is staging area, next is local repository, and the last one is remote repository. So next time I provide you a link. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the mail section. You can mail me, text me, okay? And so if you have any doubt regarding commands of Git and GitHub, you can easily tell me and message me in the Microsoft Teams. I surely reply you. So I stop sharing this PPT. Now I end the meeting. We meet in the next lecture, okay?